Cozy Gloves here, and today we're going to be talking about the Kontakt instruments I used in these tracks I've been showing for the past couple days. So if you haven't heard it, I'll briefly play it through it for you. Yeah, and then I'll talk about the instruments I used. Most of these are actually Kontakt instruments. The bass, obviously the big bass morphing thing is not a Kontakt instrument. The drums are not Kontakt, and the bass line is not Kontakt. Everything else, though, is actually Kontakt. So I'll play it for you real quick. Okay, so that's what's going on. So Kontakt, let's talk about the instruments. So this video is just going to be on the instruments. I explained how I made the atmosphere, the mood. I explained how I made the bass sound, the talky bass sound, not the bass line. The bass line is explained more in the mixing video. And yeah, so here we're just going to look at the instruments. So I own a lot of Kontakt ensembles at this point. I've actually always been kind of like, man, I wish I had those. Now I'm actually able to reach for them and grab them. It takes a lot of, you just got to save up your money, man. So, okay, let's talk about what I'm using here. So first, I went ahead and went through with the upgrade during the summer sale for, they only charge, if you own Complete, you can, I believe you have to own Complete 11. I don't know for sure though. You can upgrade the Symphony strings for 150 bucks. Normally they're like super freaking expensive. So I went ahead and did that because I was like, dude, I'm grabbing that deal. And they're pretty, I really like this string section. So I grabbed it more as an experiment. And I just left it, I put it on staccato. Okay, so this one's actually I'm using kind of dynamically. So if we look at the line here, all these greenish notes are legato. And if I go up here, you can see there's sustain. So they're sustain, not legato, but they're sustain. And then these blue ones are staccato. And I have it configured in FL so that when I write with different color notes, it automatically will change to the proper notes. So that's what's going on there. And I am doing with these chord stabs over here, I'm controlling they have a really cool option in this thing. Let me go back to it. You're able to morph via an expression CC, which is of course just volume, or you can use you can use this dynamics. So if you're not familiar, dynamics means that instead of just turning the volume up and down, instruments sound different, softer than they do louder. So what it'll do is it will bleed through various articulations so that the instrument actually goes through what it would sound like softer to what it sounds like louder, as opposed to taking a loud sample and just turning it soft and then loud. So it actually morphs through various samples to get that sound. So that is a pretty cool thing here. I'm not sure on the fades exactly how it works, but yes, that's what's going on there. It's called velocity layering, velocity crossfading. So then we have a little section, and then we drop down to there. So just something neat that's going on there. That's that library. And then it also plays the main role in the stabs in the drop section. Our next library is called the Giant. It's an older Kontakt library at this point now. At least I think it is. So what it is it is a really, really cool piano, and you can accomplish a huge amount of moods out of this. I have it set up to be right here. So one of my favorite things about this piano is how it can be so dull and in the back. I prefer this piano over the unichord. I've now messed with the unichord quite a bit, and the unichord I would grab for very specific moods and things. But I'm not a fan generally of some of the tones. This is going to offer a very different tone. I really like this tone. That or the grander is also really nice. So what I have here is I have it changed to hard. And what's one of my favorite things, I didn't use it in this track, but let me go up an octave. That, how full those low notes are is just awesome. So I put it's also excellent for sounding dreamlike, but I wanted it to have a hard piano feel, meaning when I hit the note, I wanted it to be very aggressive still, but in like a dreamlike kind of way. And so that accomplished what I was looking for. It's actually, the Giant itself is going out to channel 2, and on channel 2, this is the piano. So there's like Kontakt, and this is 2 channels over from Kontakt. So this is where my piano's at. And my piano is being sent out a delay verb send. So it's going into a verb and then a delay, and that's what gives it the sound that it has. And they have an extra large XXL, does a couple cool things. You can go in, like, do some things with the equalizer. I believe I brought the bass down. I can't remember at this point. But yeah, so that's the Giant. It is used in the second part, and it complements this piano. This is from Heaviosity. Now, this is definitely an older Kontakt ensemble, and this one sounds really cool. So this piano inside of Heaviosity sounds like this. They have these reversed like reverb things going on. And if you hold the notes, yeah, so cool. So I was like, what if I merge between these two and do something cool there? So Heaviosity has a lot of really interesting things. So this is in their tonality and FX section, in the melodic section. And so you can go check that out. That's the instrument I used for that one. So most people should have these if you own Complete or Kontakt. Usually, I'm not sure if Kontakt comes with these or not. And then, okay. So these ones are sort of the ones you probably don't have or may have not have heard of. So the first one's LA Bros. It's called LA Bros, Audio Bros, LA Drama Drums. And this thing is just a monster. This thing is like stupid, like how much is in here. They have a full functional, like a mixer. Oh yeah, you want to do like a mixer thing? Oh yeah, here we go. We'll like make an entire mixer in Kontakt. Like some of it, I'm like almost like this is like overkill, like how crazy this is. So you can do so much in here. I can't even begin to start where I started. So all I'm gonna say is I loaded up the Kontali's hit patch, and it sounds like this. And I'll explain also why the F sharp 0 is grabbed. If I go to the bell, am I too high or not high enough? Yeah. If you're wondering what the keyboard range of this patch is, it is this. And this is like another discussion. And if you go even higher, okay, and then what these do, these guys down here, they change a whole bunch of settings at once. They're like presets you can dynamically switch to. They can change things on the mixer. They can change things. Like if I went to like A and then went back over here, you saw some things change. And now it's a much drier sound. If I go back, I have my big open sound again. So that's what I'm doing here. Kontali hits, they come with like all the percussion you could want. It was a toss up between this and the Spitfire one, because I'm a big fan of Spitfire. But they are having a massive sale on it at the time. I probably, if I bought this at full price, I would have been a little bit miffed. So like I would have been like, probably not well spent. But I don't have cash to throw around. Like as far as like how much versatility I can get from something, because it's missing things like it doesn't have a lot of the mallets, tonal percussion. It's got like a xylophone, but where's my marimba, yo? And where's my like Celestia, all those sorts of things. So Spitfire does have those things. But at the price I did get it at, which I believe was like $200 something, this was an awesome buy. So yeah, anyways, I'm using it just for that one thing. But they have a lot of awesome drums and just they just have so much in here. But it would be a great buy if you are a pro composer actively working in film and have cash to throw towards a percussive library. So we have like, okay, so the next ones are, oh, if you want to see it used in the track, I use it as this bell sound here. It's just a background element. And they have multiple mic positions. You saw that crazy mixer and everything too. So if I play it. So it's sort of an accent in this particular case. I tend to, when I'm grabbing Kontakt instruments, it's usually for those color accents in the track. Did I close Kontakt? No, it says it's still open. Where is it? Oh my goodness. Freaking Kontakt. Okay. Now we're going to go over to, okay, so these are the woodwinds that you hear over here. And these woodwinds have so much cool stuff. It's like ridiculous. So these are the high woods, and I did not change the mic position. This is Albion Tundra. So this is the 5th Albion in the Albion series for Spitfire. And Albion is sort of like these, they really try to nail down a particular aspect in a way that covers a whole orchestra. So it could be like a whole toolkit. The idea with this one is how soft can you really get and still be like really useful and cool. Because there's like this, if you listen to Paul Thompson, I believe is his name. If you listen to him talk about the magic that happens when instruments are soft, if you play an instrument, you know that's true. If especially like there's something real special about when stuff is really soft. So the library was recorded with this in mind, like how soft can we get? What are the weird things we can do? So they have all these flutes, and I only used the hollow, and I didn't even change anything about it just because I knew this sound was awesome. I'm still considering doing the dynamic. I'm probably going to add dynamic changes in here, just subtly. But I want to show you some of the other ones because they really are pretty cool. So this is like the hollow sound. But let's go like, they have this air. Let's do that. And I'm not even doing dynamic changes. This is just stupidly cool. Check out this one. This one's so cool. Arctic Overblown. I'm just like beside myself with some of these things, and all their ensembles in here are pretty much like that. So I think it's awesome. So I grab it all the time for color tones. Again, as far as a library all by itself, unless you're really into writing soft music and stuff, I really feel like you need to complement it with other things. But the tones it offers you to use is just awesome. So I really dig it. And then we have, finally, I was like waiting for this one to come out. That's how excited I was. Okay, so they did Spitfire Symphonic Brass, but when Spitfire Symphonic Woodwinds, I knew it had to be coming because they just did the one to the brass. They took all the old BML libraries, Spitfire did, and they compressed them all into one brass library at a way awesome price. It was like $600 or something, which is like, before it was way more than that. It was like over, I don't even remember how much it was. It was like, I think it was over double that. So amazing buy, right? So I'm like, oh, woodwinds have to be coming. And the reason I wanted Spitfire, because there's like Berlin woodwinds and a whole bunch of other really awesome ones, is their clarinet to me is like one of the best sampled clarinets you can possibly get. I'm a clarinet player, and so there are still things you can't do. Just instruments are always going to be, I feel, just a little bit above what you can really sample, just because players can do weird stuff while they're playing their instrument. You can do all these howls and squeals on clarinet, but as far as like writing with the clarinet, I thought this one was like one of the best you could possibly get. And so I'm using the clarinet here, but they did the whole woodwind thing. Oh my gosh, they have so much cool stuff in here. I want to do a video just on this because I'm just like super happy with this purchase. But anyways, they have like a contrabassoon. They have a clarinet. They have a contrabass clarinet. I was in a clarinet choir for a while, and so there's like the B flat contrabass, and then I believe it was the E flat, and it's this crazy instrument that like you have to sit on a stool because the mouthpiece is so high and it bends down and comes all the way up, and like comes down. And then you have this crazy one that looks like a giant paperclip. And they have a contrabass clarinet in here and a bass clarinet. So they have some pretty cool instruments in here. I don't know if you've ever seen like a I don't know what it's called, a tuba flute, a double bass flute. It's this massive, massive flute that it's like this giant triangle that comes up to you. It's like the tuba of flutes. It's so big. There's a cool flute choir YouTube video that demonstrates all these weird flute instruments. So I think the sampling, the quality, the microphone positions, everything about this is just totally amazing. So I like just go check it out. So anyways, the clarinet, what I used it for here was, if we go over to the let's go over here to the clarinet. That's the sound. And so just the way their staccatos, they're the right length. I just like it. And I'm sending this out also through the delay verb, but if you get rid of it, because, you know, that's like very atmospheric, but you can get, now it is recorded wet, but I feel like that's the magic of the library. So you can't get super, super dry, but you can bring up the close mic and basically get super, like, you can get dry. So that's normal. So we're already enhancing the space the clarinets were recorded in, but I don't feel in any way that this is like held me up. But some people, if you're writing like a corporate children's tune with, and you want up close clarinets and they need to be dry, I feel like you can get pretty close with the close mic. If we like turn these off, and then turn this off, that's like what you get. But there's still space on it, so that might not work for some people. But I really like just the way this works. And again, you have all the different articulations. The legatos really sold me too. And so if we were to like play some of the legato, am I on the clarinet? What MIDI channel am I on right now? Okay, go down. Let's switch over to legato. It's my MIDI channel. This thing. It should. I don't know what's going on right now. But anyways, yeah, they have an amazing legato sound as well. Let's try it, see if that fixed what I wanted to do. There we go. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, there's some processing stuff I could change about this to demo it a bit better, but I really dig it. Really cool library. So anyways, yeah, that's the libraries I used. These are a chunk of change each. I've spent thousands of dollars on sounds. It's where most of my money goes. So that's what's going on. If you have any questions about this, let me know. I pretty much save up for like the next library. Like my next target is choirs. And I've been doing this for years now. And so I finally got to the point where I actually have quite a number of pretty nice sound libraries. And so my sound design is now less a desperate attempt to try and fill in for what I'm missing and more I can do cool things and I don't have to worry about not having this sound. Because I remember hearing tracks all the time and being like, I don't have a piano that can sound like that. I have to like make it. This is I was always like, this is stupid. Why? Some people will just have all this money and they can just afford all these awesome things. So saving up, paying for college, doing all these things just takes time, I guess. But yeah, those are the Kontakt instruments I liked. Hopefully you got some cool ideas of what you want in there. I see a lot of people who are new or they're introduced, they're in a different circle. So they use like Logic or they use Cubase or they use whatever it is. And I see people get all hyped about Omnisphere, and which is really great. I don't have Omnisphere, but actually that was one of my early targets. They somehow new people get into this. I really want Omnisphere thing because their demos are amazing. Or East West. I was really into East West. Because those were the first one I saw, and I was like, I didn't even know this existed. But Kontakt by itself doesn't come with all these libraries. But if you buy complete, that was hands down the best music purchase I've ever made in my music career, besides like maybe my computer and DAW, like, because you need those things to work. But as far as sounds go, like I'm still drenched in more than I could ever use when it comes to like Reactor and stuff. So this is like, yeah, if you're going to buy a sample engine, I know like things like Mach 5 exist. I've even been to a demo, but like I've actually learned how to program in their scripting language in here and developed instruments. And those are things that are just so much harder to do in other libraries as far as functionality goes. So I really think like if you're going to get a sample library, like, yes, all those other options are really great, but like you are hard pressed to find something that beats Kontakt right now. Maybe you have a very strong, different opinion. I'm open. I'm all ears. I think they're excellent. I would like to get them, but you know, it's better to pick one direction and go in it. And if you're looking for power, I really feel like this is the most powerful direction you could head in. There are active developers all over the place, like Spitfire, that make these awesome libraries. Commonplace, you'll see it all the time in studios. It'll be right next to East West their play engine and all that stuff too. And you can do the rental thing, but I really think it's better to just save up and just buy your libraries, because renting just sucks the money out of you piece by piece. So it's not the way to go, I feel sometimes. If you have any questions about this, let me know. Subscribe, support me on Patreon, and have a blessed day.